Hey guys, welcome back for my review of episode 10, The Benefit of Grief. Kai, Zayn, and Dareth catch a ride with this person named Sally, a musician who is heading to Ninjago City. And Zayn points out a photo of her and her parents, and then she gets really sad and reveals that she ran away from home and that she wasn't really allowed to leave. The police arrive, and Sally drives the truck into a canyon where they float down a river and outrun McBrog. And then Zayn persuades Sally to go home and tells her that her parents will welcome her home, and she does so, and Zayn reveals that he has turned on his emotions, and that he realizes there is a benefit to grief. First of all, the back of Sally's van does have an LGBT flag on it. I think that's a really great form of representation, and definitely a big step forward for the series. I think they managed to develop the character of Sally so well in just one episode. We see that she is someone who is ambitious, has a lot of hopes, dreams, and goals, but also someone who cares very much for her family and obviously feels very bad about what she has done. Overall, I think Sally is a very well-developed character who we as viewers can empathize with. Now, the highlight of this episode comes towards the end when Zayn encourages Sally to go home. I love how he ties her experiences to his own with his memory switch and Dr. Julian. I think it's a super relevant connection and one that makes a lot of sense. But also it's relevant to Zayn in the present, because following Nia's disappearance, he shut off his emotions. Zayn, when he is telling Sally to go home and to listen to her emotions, is also making the case for himself turning on his own emotions. And I think the message about emotions here, that they can be helpful in telling us things, I think that is a very, very powerful message, and one that is developed excellently here. I like how this episode is, again, development for both Sally and Zayn. I also really like the final scenes of this episode. I feel like in a season that has otherwise been pretty difficult for the ninja, this episode just gives off a very nice feel-good and happy feeling, and has, some sense of success. But I'm really impressed that this episode manages to tell a brief story about grief and hope and emotions in just one episode. But this episode also has its fair share of action and excitement. In this episode, we see how Dog McBrog pursue the ninja on a river, and obviously it's a very tense scene because, hey, after all, they are on rapids. It's also crazy how this guy just dives into the canyon to pursue the ninja. Definitely characterizes him as a reckless person who is willing to take these risks. At worst, I think the character of Sally gets annoying sometimes with the constant crying. It's not the most pleasant, but I think the plot of this episode is very, very good. I think it's awesome how this episode tells such a meaningful story in just 11 minutes. Really great work there. Regarding characters, Sally is very well developed, and also Zayn is a big focus here. I think this episode excellently intertwines Sally and Zayn's story, and his realization that emotions are important is great. Also, there is some solid action amidst all of the thematic storytelling. The canyon chase is just a good scene. It's fun, it's creative, and it's just exciting to watch. And of course, emotion is definitely the centerpiece of this episode. Just a very powerful message about home and grief and emotions. So I'm really happy to give this episode the full 10 out of 10. I felt like it was a very lighthearted, but still emotional and meaningful episode, and just excellent writing here. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. Share your thoughts on episode 10, The Benefit of Grief, below, and I'll see you guys next time.